Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who got 'em, who rockin' on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange on bottle, single bottle, never stop it. To the beast and know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white.
Okay.
Hi.
It's doing weird stuff.
My name is Chris. People call me Pork Chop. And my friend Greg and my friend Dale. We have a podcast that's on right now.
Yeah.
Check it out if you don't mind. We appreciate it.
Bengals and Brews, and we change our logo every day because I
true.
like to play with AI.
Like you gotta keep it fresh, man. So Dale gets our video, our thing.
See, I like this one, and the can looks orange here when the screens are smaller.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
well, send me that one because then I can write.
It's going to be the same thing, and you can put whatever on the can. Because it said beers and it spelled it wrong. For all transparency to everybody.
Well, you want me to put on the can like tonic water, something like that.
Dot-bot juice.
Dot-bot juice, yes.
Just whatever. Tiger stripes. I don't care.
All right, I can do tiger. I have some tiger stripes in my Photoshop library.
Yeah, something
for some reason,
and we'll see how that one looks. We'll go with this one for today. Why not? But welcome everybody, and we got some concerning news because we like to freak out.
Right. We're fucking freaking out over here, man. Freaking out.
Joe Burrow's wearing a glove, and we're all freaked out. What does it mean? Is his hand okay? Oh my God! Because we had this the last year with the hand and the elbow and the stuff, and we don't know what's going on. We are going to recap the game from the other day. But yeah, Joe Burrow wearing a glove is where we have to start. Are you guys in pure panic mode?
I didn't even know about it.
Well, I literally found out less than 2 minutes ago. I was just scrolling through our text, from when I was sleeping because I just woke up and I just saw it. And my instant reaction was, well, the fuck's he got a glove on for? But I'm not really all that worried about it.
Yeah. So just for everybody, you can see on his throwing hand, he's got the compression sleeve, and then he's got the black glove on the hand.
It's bionic hand.
That is, yeah. He's now a robot hand.
Yeah, it's bionic. He's just hiding the hand because people are probably like Spygate. You know what I'm saying? They're over there on the sidelines watching that hand and stuff. So he put a glove on it.
I'm also very zoomed in. There's his crotch.
I'll bet you. I would. I am not gay, but I will lay with Joe Burrow.
Hopefully it's nothing. Hopefully at practice, like all his throws look good. If we start being like, oh, his passes are all off and wobbly and this and that, and we'll just have to wait and see if they even talk about it. They may be like, it's just something I'm trying out here or there. They may not say nothing about it, just like, going into that one game where they act like there was nothing with potentially the wrist or anything, and then find out maybe there was something there.
Right. So. I got to personally say I don't like the glove. He throws with the glove. I don't like it because it gives me Pittsburgh vibes. Didn't Ben Roethlisberger wear gloves every time?
I don't know. He was
fucking stupid ass Kenny Pickett wore gloves too.
My take is let's not panic until there's something to panic for. Let's just wait, like Dale kind of said. Let's just wait and see what they say, or if they say anything.
Yeah, let's not worry about the glove, man. Fucking Jamar Chase ain't playing this year. He's holding out all year. Jamar Chase is holding out all year. Why are we worried about Joe Burrow?
Exactly.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, they're starting to get the talk of, if he holds out the first game. Obviously, no one wants that.
No.
And I don't think he will. Like, Chad was just speculating. Oh, I think he'll sign a deal. Yeah. It was more speculation there as you popped that up, Greg. Good timing on that. Ocho Cinco was saying that, but it sounded like he's just kind of like, yeah, I think he'll sign, and I can't see him missing out. And it's more his opinion than anything. I don't think he'll set out either. That's my opinion. No one gives a shit about mine because I did not play in the NFL like Ocho Cinco. But he said he hasn't talked to Chase. He don't have any inside information on it. Take it for what it is. I just hope he's out there week one, and I hope he's out there really, like I said, the the week of the game getting practice in. You know, I don't think you could not practice at all. I know he's great, but I'm just saying I'd like there to be some practices with the team.
You think that – so one of the things I was reading that Joe Burrow would go to the Bengals and be like, put the pressure on him, like get him signed, you know, and that would help it out. But I don't know. I just kind of think Joe Burrow just kind of – I don't know. He's just going to roll with it.
Yeah, I think he'll stay out of it. You know, I don't think he wanted people jumping into his, just a matter of let the agents do their job, and they know it's going to get signed. It's a matter of when, and each player's different, and what each player thinks they need to be out there doing. Still not going to panic about that one yet. Would rather see it resolved sooner than later. Would love it to be resolved with an extension just so it's locked up, done, right? And then we're not having this conversation in the offseason.
Like I said, it's something you just can't control in the end, you know?
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens, but the Bengals have no reason to sign Jamar right now except for the fact that a possible money saving. The man's 2 years. So someone, and I think I said this before on the show, is that if the Bengals were doing this, and I'm not saying I'm pissed off at Jamar Chase. I'm just trying to, you know, business is business in the NFL, and this is how it works. But if the Bengals were doing this to Jamar Chase, we'd all be pissed off. Like, what the fuck? But Jamar Chase is under contract for 2 more years. So he signed a contract. He's got 2 more years on it.
He's on his 5th. He signed his 5th-year option, right? He's got this year and the 5th-year option.
So he's got the 5th-year option.
Right.
So what I'm saying is go fucking play. I agree somewhat with against Jamar. Like, you're under contract for 2 more years. If I fucking made a contract with somebody and then, you know, all of a sudden I want to change the deal, you signed a deal for X amount of years. So I'm not really on Jamar on the Jamar Chase side of this. Go out and play. You signed a fucking contract.
Yeah, he should be out there. Like I said, I don't want to, you know, if we're still having this conversation the week of first game, then, you know, probably my panic will be a little higher.
What if on September 8th it's not done and we go to the game, and when they fucking announce the Bengals, the helicopter comes in like Boz and fucking lands down on the field, and Jamar Chase gets out of it and they announce his contract signing.
And money just flows
Money
out
just
when
fucking flies. Like, it's like goddamn confetti, and I'm up there in the 300s fucking reaching at $100 bills as they fly down.
Why not?
You know? How nice will that be? Good
idea.
idea.
We had a couple
Bengals.
things here with corner two. I think that's a good second topic before we dive completely into the game. Dax Hill is taking reps with the first team at cornerback again. So he seems to be over DJ Hill. Our buddy Fig Newton had kind of an up and down game. Probably not ideal. He said it wasn't. He's got to be better. Had a really good first game. Yeah. Not so great this second game. Hopefully he has a good game Thursday. I think he'll definitely still play at some point, but I don't think they're going to make, as far as with Travis's comment, I don't think it'll make Hilton obsolete, especially this year. He's on the last year of his deal. Now, maybe if the Bengals start to think, hey, we don't need to extend him next year, you know, we think we can cover it between Newton and Turner and Dax Hill, between those three, and then Cam Taylor-Britt as the fourth guy, and that's the route they decide to go. I could see that happening next year. But this year, Mike Hilton's still your starting slot corner.
Yeah. Nobody's playing the slot besides Mike Hilton, though, right?
Jalen Davis is typically the
Jalen Davis, but I'm like Dax Hill and DJ Turner are both playing outside, and so is Cam Taylor-Britt.
Yeah.
And even Newton's getting a lot of reps outside. Right. But I do think that those guys can get more reps inside.
I would love to see Hilton stay.
Right. No, exactly. And, like, you know, Dax Hill, I'll credit him. I figure we say Dax when Derek comes on and all that, because you know Derek's going to be loving to talk about that. But no, like I say, with Dax, I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm happy I get proven wrong. I'm happy I'm proven wrong on a lot of things right there. And Dax has been just tearing it up. And, you know, Chop, I know you're a big DJ fan. I'm still not going to give up on DJ Turner yet, but I'm really happy to see Dax taking advantage of this opportunity right now he's got.
No, if Dax balls out this year at outside corner, let's just say he starts, he's healthy all year, he balls out at outside corner, and they think he's their long-term answer there along with CTB. Then next year, I'm looking at putting Turner in the slot.
Yes.
There you go.
Get him on the field more.
Right.
I think they all got futures here. Dax maybe being the most questionable just because they really got to figure it out sooner rather than later. He's a little, you know, he's a year ahead of Turner. So, you want to figure out what you got going on there with him before it becomes contract, how much we pay this guy. So this is a big year for Dax at outside corner.
That's why we got these corners that can switch on and off. That's the cool thing. It's like, hey, if you can't be used here, you can use them somewhere else. That's the cool thing with these corners. You can move them around if you have to.
I feel pretty good about the cornerbacks right now.
Yeah,
do you think I got a false feeling or something? I feel pretty good about it.
I'm feeling a little bit better too.
I mean, our fourth cornerback to me in my head is Fig Newton, and I think he's looked good. Yeah, he had an up and down game against Chicago. That fucking game was weird anyway. But
and he's technically the fifth, right? Because if you count Hilton, CTB, DJ Turner, and Dax, then he's 5.
I keep forgetting about little fucking Mikey. It's because he's short, and I think when I just look right over his head. Guy's only like fucking 4'2", so I got over him.
And, like I say, we don't worry about this till he comes back. When DJ Ivey comes back, you got to give yourself a good problem here, kind of like the same situation in the tight end room right now. So, so this is a decent problem to have right now.
Well, you guys said how many corners do they usually keep?
They keep 6 a lot of times, and they go 4 safeties. But this seems like a year where they go 9-0 line, like it's just starting to feel that way more and more. And if you go with 9 O linemen instead of 10, then that could open up room for 11 defensive backs, so they could keep the 5 safeties that we've talked about with Dejon Anthony and Tyson Anderson both, especially special teams and the new kickoff rules. But then you could also keep your 6th corner in Jalen Davis. I think you're kind of looking at maybe the last roster spot coming down, and there's still a game to play. But as of right now, maybe Jalen Davis, or do you keep 5 tight ends? And Chop, I've said all along, they're not going to keep 5 tight ends.
Right.
Maybe they do, honestly.
I don't know.
I'm starting to come around on it just because it's such a good room, and they like Hudson. They like what he does. I mean, I feel like everybody's kind of split on it. It's like a lot of people are like, keep the younger guy, but a lot of people are like, Hudson has the trust of the quarterback room. I think both things are fair to say.
Yep.
And if there's a way to keep all of them, because they're not going to get rid of all Sample or Gesicki, so you keep 5, potentially.
Yeah, Travis here brings up an interesting point. Should we use it as a trade piece? I don't think so, just because corners get hurt a lot. I think our 4th corner, Apple, one year was like, our 3rd or 4th corner? He got a lot of playing time. I totally get where you're coming from, Travis, but, man, you got to have the depth at corner position right now for the Bengals. Man, you just have to keep your corners. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think we got enough depth there to trade anybody. And we play the 3rd corner so much. And I'm talking 3rd outside corner. So that's not even saying with Hilton involved. CTB, Dax, and DJ Turner are all going to get, most likely, based on how it has played out every single year because of injuries and stuff at the corner position, that cornerback, outside cornerback 3 gets a ton of reps and ton of plays.
Yeah.
Snap count. Get a ton of snaps. So I definitely don't think they'll trade anybody, and I like the depth there, but it's good to have it and keep it that way. And then T. Brookie here saying, I guess Joe's putting the glove on in between reps. Oh. So that's interesting if he's taking it off when he's out there and then putting it on. So there's got to be a little bit of something, or he wouldn't be doing that.
Maybe he's bored.
Maybe inflammation control is T. Brookie's thoughts here, and you could be right. We'll just see if they say anything about it. Hopefully it's nothing major or anything to get too concerned about.
No.
But obviously, anytime our franchise, there's anything, we know how important Joe Burrow is to this team and the success that they want to have and where we want to go, which is New Orleans for a Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, anytime this man puts something on, we're going to worry about it. If he's wearing a compression sleeve on his leg, we're like, oh, fuck, the calf. He's wearing a compression sleeve on his arm, we're like, oh, fuck. So anytime, maybe Joe's fucking with us.
Joe's wearing sunglasses. Does he have a concussion? You know what I mean? It just anything, man.
Is he on blood pressure medicine? Is his eye sensitive to the sun?
You just never know, man. So I don't blame anybody if they're, to wonder about it, because till we hear, we're gonna question it. Now the Bears game. Go ahead.
What we need is September 9th.
Yep.
Day after we beat New England, so everybody can shut the fuck up about gloves, shut up about Jamar, all that bullshit. We'll all get it figured out on September 8th when it's the fucking orange out. Look at this new hat I got.
Look at my shorts I got right there.
Oh, that's nice. Greg, you're not wearing your shorts.
If you want me to put them on now, I will.
I don't know, maybe. What do you think, Dale?
I don't care what he wears.
No. I don't feel like standing up today, so.
I don't feel like standing up either. I got to fucking work all night. I had to go to dumbass doctor today.
Yeah. But yeah, the Bears recap game. Obviously, first team defense, in my opinion, gets an A+ because we went up against their starters. I know Kayla.
Well, second team defense for us, really.
You're right.
Sorry, second team. Thank you, Dale. Second team, and they did a hell of a job versus the Bears first team. I mean, first round pick Caleb Williams. They 3 and outs. I think it was.
Start the game, yeah. 3 and outs to start.
Second team defense, as far as I'm concerned, gets an A. On that.
Let me tell you something, man. I watched Good Morning Football a little bit of it this morning. Kyle Brandt's like fucking, god damn. It's like Caleb Williams was playing the best Super Bowl game. He's like the Super Bowl MVP from that fucking game.
All late in the second quarter.
Yeah,
and they only had him out there that long because they were struggling for most of the half. So
that's what I'm saying.
But you know what's going to happen because the throw he made down the sideline was incredible. The improvisational play, the play improvised, I'll just say it that way, where Rome was out of bounds, it would have been a touchdown, was a great play. The play he ran in was a great play. He had a few great, spectacular plays back to back, but it's like they only think about that, when our second team defense is having them go 3 and out twice against their first team. That is impressive on the Bengals part.
Yes, it is.
And that should be talked about more, but they're always going to slurp quarterbacks.
We know the real reason why Caleb did well, because remember when I texted you, man, Caleb's not doing anything. He's playing like crap. And
he turned it on right at that moment.
And you're like, damn it, Greg.
Right.
So
he fucked that up.
I'll just complete this for Matt. Get your shit together. I didn't get my shit together.
I still got Detroit winning their division, so sorry about your fucking luck, Chicago.
Yeah, but no, it was a great pass and all that, but it's like, dude, against second or third team, I'd be like, come on, man. But Porch up, look, I don't want to go off trail, but your guy, Jane Daniels, good job with them. Huh?
What the fuck did I say? The fuck did I say?
Then again, Bo Nix is doing well too and all that and stuff, so we'll see. But yeah, anyway, back to this. Like I say, Caleb Williams is like, simmer down against the third team defense you're going up against.
Yeah. It also didn't help that the Bengals were getting holding calls on every
Didn't we get like 138 penalty yards or something like that?
Yeah, they got to clean that up. That was one of the worst parts of the game. Even like our offense scored 3 points as a McPherson field goal before the half. You look at the final score, 27-3. You're like, oh, they got shit kicked in. First half was close. It's 10-3 at halftime.
Yeah,
we played really well in the first half with their first team almost the entire half versus our second and third team guys. So I think I look at that game as one half of football, and I like what I've seen from the guys that are likely to make this 53-man roster during that first half. They look good on both sides of the ball. Now the offense, you wish they would have scored more points,
right?
But damn, they could not pick up the corner blitz whatsoever, and just getting demolished on the same play. And Zach said it's the same play like 3 or 4 times in a row that they ran. It caused a turnover when we were moving the ball well. Things could have played out a lot different score-wise for the first half, even if they just would have taken care of the ball and picked up the blitz and had better recognition, really, on what was coming and, had somebody there to pick it up. That's on the O-line and that's on the quarterback. But
yeah,
no, I mean, like Logan Woodside, it's like, dude, man, you're seeing this. You got to see both sides. You got to look both ways, man. I mean, do you put it on Woodside or do you blame that on?
Well, Woodside literally had about a half a second when he got hit that one time on that blitz.
Well, but he's got to know it's like he was zeroing in on his target and like so focused on half the field, and you have to, as a quarterback, you have to have that awareness. You have to have eyes in the back of your head. They say. So I do think it's part Logan Woodside, but it's also part O-line. It's all those guys have to recognize kind of what they're in, where's this guy, and they timed it well. And Kyler Gordon's a really good corner that they kept bringing on that cornerback blitz. Good player, but there's really no excuse to have that happen that many times in a row. So got to get it cleaned up. All the penalties, they got to get cleaned up. And one guy particularly to go negative here for a second before we go positive on the O-line is Trey Hill. Trey Hill had like 4 penalties alone in that game.
I was just going to say, like, who was the center when these blitz weren't picked up? Because the center calls out a lot of the protections, right?
Not always. It's usually all the linemen working in tandem. And Matt Lee, he played center. He played every snap of the game. He looked really good again. Yeah. Now, you could say maybe some of that he should recognize a little more, but they also did a decent job of disguising it. So you got to give some credit to Chicago. I think they got a pretty good defense as well. We were able to move the ball. But yeah, Trey Hill, back to him for a minute. He's got to go, man. I'm sorry. He's been here long enough. Matt Lee has proven that he should take that center spot. Maybe Trey Hill looked slightly better at guard. Before penalties, you did not look better. Like maybe when he wasn't getting penalties, he some people liked what he was doing. Parker Blake and draft guy Jared thought he looked better at guard than he usually does center, but he still looked awful. But because the penalties, you can't have them. They're drive killers. They're they'll just kill you. They'll take away points on drives. They just do. They hurt you so much. So I definitely think Trey Hill has probably lost a job.
Yep.
Now for the positive, Nate Gilliam played all of the game at left guard. Matt Lee, we already mentioned, played all the game at center. I thought both of those guys looked pretty good. And then Jackson Kirkland, who played guard last week, slid out and played left tackle this week.
Hey.
I'm sure there's plays you can pick up and be like, oh, he didn't play great on it a couple plays or got pushed back. But overall, and he graded out well per PFF, Jackson Kirkland showing that left tackle and guard versatility. And Cody Ford played right tackle. He didn't have as good a game, I didn't think, as Jackson Kirkland. But both of those guys being able to play tackle and guard, especially with Mims hurt, that is guys that should make the roster. And that should allow us to go with 9 offensive linemen, in my opinion. You should be able, because you've got those guys for guard and tackle depth. You've got Matt Lee at backup center. Volson could probably slide in. He got snaps at center at least last year. I don't know about this year, but you should have plenty of depth that you don't have to keep a Trey Hill or a Jackson Carman. Guys who's been here for a few years, and they haven't proven, part of my language, jack shit on what they can do on a football field. And they're getting dumb penalties against backups and playing bad against backups. I know Trey Hill was in there against Chicago's starters, I guess, which is a little better. But at the same point in time, and Jackson Carman didn't get in. So I'll be curious, is Trey Hill in with the first action? Because a guy like Eric Miller's looked good. Undrafted guy out of Louisville, I believe.
Yeah.
Has looked pretty good when he's gotten his opportunities. I'd slide him in that starting lineup with the rest of the guys that were in there the other day. What are you guys' thoughts overall on the line? Do you agree that probably Jackson Carman and Trey Hill's time is done here in Cincinnati, at least on the active roster? I doubt they go practice squad, but you never know.
Go ahead, Derek. Fucking with him because he's talking. My feeling is that Jackson Carman's time was up the year after his rookie season. They're not going to let him go. Somehow Jackson Carman's going to be on this team. I just don't have faith in them letting him go. I do feel like he should. Trey Hill, I also feel like Matt Lee has stepped up. He's a fucking beast. If we didn't have a center and we drafted Matt Lee right this year and we didn't have a center, I'd feel pretty good about Matt Lee starting the season, to be honest with you. What do you think, Greg?
I feel the same way, man. I mean, dude, it's like, I'm going to say the word Brandon Tate once again, buddy, here. One coworker might actually said he liked him, but dude, it's like, it's been 4 years. I'm sorry. Or 3 years. You've had your time. I'm sorry. I wanted to see Trey Hill to do well. It just didn't happen. You never want to wish any person to lose their job or anything, but
yeah, I do. That guy.
Okay. But no, Matt Lee comes in. Guy what's he been doing? Balling out. He's been doing everything he's told to do. He comes in, works his ass off. I mean, it's all simple here. This is not something you need to overthink or anything. Simple enough. Lee has proved himself, and Trey Hill has had 3 years. I'm sorry.
He got that dog in him.
With Darth there, and then we'll let Derek give his thoughts on the O-line. But I agree with Darth. I think Carman, the writing's on the wall with how little he played and how bad that first game was. He's done. He's gone.
9 snaps, I think is what it was.
He's gone.
It was.
Did you say that he did not play against Chicago?
No, he played like Derek was saying.
9 snaps. That's the 9 snaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the snap count. I can take a look at it. But go ahead, Derek. Give your overall thoughts on.
No, so like I said, Matt Lee's got that dog in him, dude. He was out there just being a people mover, a mauler. I will say it does. Was it 9?
Yeah,
I thought that's what it was. It does worry me, and I know everybody says don't take into account the depth chart right now, but when you look at that depth chart and it's still now maybe they're just not updating stuff. I don't know, but they still have Trey Hill over Matt Lee. So I don't know. Do we take in any stock into that, or we
Nope.
just say,
No.
Okay.
None.
But
Matt Lee played the whole game at center. They wanted an extended look, and he held up well to play a whole game.
Yeah.
I think he's done everything to earn that backup job.
Yeah.
That would be a criminal if he is not the backup center.
Yeah, and the one thing that did affect me a little bit, and I guess not many teams really do have a tackle. They got 3 tackles, and that's pretty much what most teams have, and that's where we're at right now. But the tackle depth past Amarius Mims looked a little suspect to me.
But that's what I liked about Jackson Kirkland playing
Yeah.
left tackle and looking pretty good doing it. I think that says a lot because that's why, we don't have to keep Jackson Carman to be a backup left tackle, and Deontay Smith's out for the season. So it's like, you can do this if we need it. Like, we want to develop you at guard ultimately, but you're going to get a lot of reps here at backup left tackle. You also have Trent Brown when Mims is back. If Orlando goes out a little bit, Trent Brown's played a ton of left tackle. So then you slide Trent Brown over and you got Mims at right tackle. But I think Kirkland and then Cody Ford, who started at right tackle. Now, I think Ford, it would be best to keep him at guard as much as possible.
Yeah.
But they've put him in at tackle. They did
He's
it last year
tackle.
when they've needed to. So
Yeah.
I think the depth isn't as bad as we think. It's just getting Mims back and making sure Brown's okay. 2 of your top 3 guys there, if they're out, that's a little scary. But at the same time, the depth behind that for O tackle, basically 4 and 5 to me, are guys that can play guard too. Big Kirkland and Cody Ford. I kind of like that because they showed it against the Bears' first string unit.
Did Trent Brown practice today?
Do what?
Did Trent Brown practice today?
That's one thing that worries me. I don't want to speak ill of a guy, but when they say he struggles like throughout his whole career with, I don't even know if it's injury or if it's just not wanting to practice. When like if he comes out week 1 and plays lights out, great. I'm not going to think twice about it. But when you hear all of this stuff about the guy, and he's played year after year after year, and he continued to do that kind of stuff, and then he comes into the Bengals, and then, has he played a full week yet? I don't think he's practiced a full week yet, has he?
No, I don't think so either.
No.
So it does, you do start to wonder about it a little bit.
Man, the money has changed Evan McPherson.
Look at him. Is he growing a mustache? Is that what I'm seeing?
I don't know if you can really see much of a mustache there, but those shades, man, that's big time. No, somebody gave him those. Or the Bengals theme from at Black Shades USA. So there you go. There's a little shout out to Black Shades USA. But
that's pretty cool, though.
Hey, good too. And congratulations, Evan McPherson. Well earned.
Hey, McPherson, you know where you need to spend your money immediately?
Where?
West Best and 50 West Brewery. Proud sponsor of the show. That's where you need to invest your money right now. Is those
needs to take us all there for dinner.
And you know what I plan on doing Friday for a little thing Friday. I'm going to combine Midwest. I'm going to get some of that, combine those sauces together and have some fun Friday.
Oh, God. You're going to rub it all over yourself again.
Hey.
Well, you must really like that fantasy draft.
Hey, man, I'm not picking till 12. I got to entertain myself sometime before I pick.
That's true. We will have 2 shows Friday, by the way. So we'll recap the game from Thursday at 3:30, our normal time, and then we'll have a show at 7, which could go completely off the rails with us doing a fantasy football draft. Probably drinking some brews and having a good time, and just tune in and for shenanigans for the 7 o'clock show.
Fuck, I got a goddamn family deal that day.
Yeah, I would just skip it, honestly. Who
Yeah,
cares?
I know. The fuck, man. They planned it around the time I could make it. I thought about it. How fucked up would that be if they planned the whole thing around the time I could make it, and then I called and said, can't make it. I got to draft my fantasy football team. I'm going to draft from there.
I was going to say you could draft from there. Just sit in the corner somewhere. Find you a hole to hide in.
They always put me in the corner anyway, Derek.
Yeah,
we do have a trade, but it's not the Bengals. It is the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh,
Patrick
Holy
Line.
shit.
Patrick Line got traded for and a second round pick and Patrick Line for some guy named Jordan Harris. I'm just letting everybody know.
I'm sorry, I don't.
JH?
I
Jordan
just seen it
Harris?
on X. I had to.
Holy shit. Blue Jackets, man. It's their year. It's their
Their
year.
destiny year.
Brew Jackets. Check
I've
out
heard.
the guys' Brew Jackets. All right, Kevin and Lance. They do good stuff on Brew Jackets.
Right.
So, shout out my guys.
It could be their destiny year. You might be right, Derek.
It is definitely not their destiny. I promise you. It's a rebuilding process.
I did want to ask because, hopping in here late like I did you guys speak about the quarterbacks at all?
Well, we
quarterbacks or cornerbacks, you said.
We spoke about Logan Woodside and not picking up the blitz, but overall he hasn't been bad. Obviously, you want Jake Browning back. I still think he's a good option at number 2. And you can't keep a third because you got to roster him on the 53. So they're likely going 2. You just hope Jake Browning's good to go week 1.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I'm not really concerned about it because it's Joe Burrow and Jake Browning.
My thought was, I think we talked about this a couple weeks before about possibly trading one of these guys. After what we saw, do you think there's any stock at all for this guy? Or do you think
no?
Yeah, he definitely looks like a project again.
I mean, to tell you the truth, past Joe Burrow and Jake Browning, what we trade them for? An undrafted free agent?
Yeah, I'm good with putting him on the practice squad in an emergency situation. Let him keep working here. He's got some mobility and stuff like that. You definitely would have to scheme around him, but you had to scheme around kind of what Jake Browning could do best if he ever has to play.
Yeah, he's not a rookie either, too, Woodside, right?
No,
man. We drafted him when we drafted Auden Tate. They were both 7th-round picks. Fun fact.
So he knows the system at least. So he's probably and Rocky Lombardi looks like shit.
He knows all the systems.
And Rocky Lombardi looks like shit.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the Rocky. I shut it off at halftime because
I love that name.
That was about all I could handle.
No, I couldn't handle. I mean, but I'm like, I gotta watch for the show. I feel bad for some of those reporters.
No, I'll say. So the funny part is, I watched it a second time because I was like, you know what, I've got to get through this. I've got to watch all of it
because Joe Burrow
for the show.
Right.
I got to the third quarter, the start of the third quarter, and I'm like, nope, can't. Should have back off. It did not look very good. So at past that point, do not ask me any questions about it.
Well, another position we talked about was cornerback. So we talked about because Greg wanted you to get your opinion because we always love Dax Hill's out there with the starters today. Him and DJ didn't play a ton because the weather and things like that. Zach didn't have to play too much. I think when they were in there was pretty much 3 and outs. I don't think they played much beyond that. So they done good at least because we went 3 and out. Thoughts on Dax Hill? You think he's starting corner and let you blow your guy for a little bit?
Do it.
Well, there's 2 guys that I need to blow because
thruple.
Yeah, one of them was definitely Dax Hill. I thought he looked great, and so did DJ Turner. Those guys, I would not be surprised if they just. I mean, I don't know if you can because of trying to get in the groove of things, but I don't see a problem with them splitting series in the regular season. I mean, just keep guys fresh, right?
I don't know about a full split, but you could definitely
I'm not talking
to play. Yeah, I feel you.
Hey, Derek, show Dale your new Michigan jersey.
Ugh.
Hey, Michigan Dax Hill.
Right there. Scarlet and gray, baby. Not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm pumped up and ready for it. But the other guy I wanted to talk about was freaking Jalen Davis. One of the guys we was talking about a possible back end of the roster cut guy. He came in and he looked really, really good freaking Saturday. So I'm like, we always talk about this guy and talk about how the team loves him, and he just goes out there and shows why he is the backup slot nickel guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and we did touch on that a bit, that I think that final roster spot could come down to, do they somehow try to keep 5 tight ends? Do they keep 9 or 10 O linemen? And then do they keep 5 safeties? Do they go 6 corners? do they keep 5 safeties and 6 corners and go 11 defensive backs? Like, I think it all comes down to those 3 spots and maybe linebacker, which I want to get into a little more here in a minute. But you can get Greg and Chop's thoughts there on that.
On what was it?
The linebackers?
No, not the linebackers.
On Jalen Davis, do you think we go with 11? Do you think we keep the 5 safeties? We'll start with that.
I mean, if it's the 5th safety, who do we got as far as safeties? Geno Stone, Von Bell, Jordan Battle, Tyson Anderson, and
Anthony.
Dejon Anthony, who they've liked in camp, but hasn't necessarily flashed as much in the games yet.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I bet you we go with 4 safeties and then make it up in the corner room because, I mean, you still got Dax Hill there that knows safety. He didn't do great at it last year, but he still knows safety, so maybe they kind of move him around a little bit too.
Yeah, no, I'm on the fence on that one. I mean, Jalen Davis has the experience, but Anthony, Dale, you've been very high on him, and like you say, he just hasn't flashed. I mean, that's a tough call. You'd like to give it to the young guy, but Ramsey has. Boy, that's about like. Let me ask you this: do you see anybody picking up Anthony if he gets put on the practice squad?
I don't know, maybe, because when I was listening to the Dan Horde thing last week and Anthony was his guest on the 5 questions, he said that he thought he was going to the Bengals or Dallas. His agent told him was going to draft him in the 7th. So, yeah, they were waiting until the 7th, but at the same point in time, there was interest from them there. And, if they've seen that he had a good camp and flashed some, the Cowboys or somebody else could be interested. You just don't know for sure. Depends how happy everybody is with their rooms as well.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a $5 question from Dustin. Looks like D1 practice again today. Are there any red flags off to you guys if Burrow has another rough day? Enjoying practices tomorrow?
With the glove on, with its whole glove thing, maybe.
Glove gate.
Yeah.
Glove gate.
I was going to say, I don't know. I must have missed. What's going on with the glove?
Who the fuck knows? Joe Burrow with a glove on.
He wears it when he only wears it when he's not practicing, but he wears it in between, when he's taking a break.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not worried about that. And plus, you don't have to worry about the rain because I'm pretty certain that the Indianapolis Colts have a indoor practice facility. Do they not?
Well, but a lot of times, like the Bears do too, but they didn't want to play on that because you're getting work with like your first team defense versus their first team offense and vice versa for both teams. So they almost need 2 fields where a lot of times your practice facility will have 1 field.
I was about to say, what am I even talking about? Because
that's
Indy's
what I'm
only
saying. I'm like,
2 hours away.
Why the fuck are we worried
it's freaking
about?
Gorgeous the next couple weeks.
Right.
No, but why are we worried about if the Colts have an indoor practice field? We're playing them here.
That's what I said.
Oh.
It's a home game,
right.
Derek. You sent me your tickets for my friend for here.
I'm drinking Arnold Palmer's. I need to be drinking a little stronger.
Right. I was like, what the fuck? You know what, Hunter? Here you go. Boom.
What you got?
It sucks. I don't even want me talking about you.
Oh, man. No, I thought he looked good, though. The linebackers, though, what'd you guys think of,
Momo Manjada?
No, I'll tell you.
Muma Jean-Meta.
I'll tell you one guy. Muma was good to watch, but I'll tell you one guy. Hayward was in on every single play. Every time I saw a tackle, Hayward was either tackling or he was around. And he had the highest PFF. I'm like, well, maybe I'm just naive and I just see him all over. And he was getting praised. Dale, I know you were praising him. Hayward really impressed me for that game.
Would you say he shocked you?
Oh, yeah. He gave me the shocker, all right.
I'll bet he did. 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good problem to have. And Joe Bocci, we don't know if he kind of got dinged up. I don't know if he was out of practice. If anybody has an update, I'd love to know. But, maybe if Bocci would be out for a little bit, then both of those guys make it. But otherwise, I think it comes down to those 2. And I still got to go with Jean-Meta. I just like him. I know there were some plays that he didn't look great on, didn't take good pursuit angles on, kind of fell down on some of the reverses. But the dude's a tackling magnet.
Yes.
Led the team in tackles again with 7, 10 last week. He's leading tackles for the preseason, I think, around the NFL. So,
Yeah.
He's a stud, and I think they got to keep him, but that's no knock on Shaka Hayward, who's looked great as well.
What college did Hayward come out of?
Duke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about number 45, Muma Ninjata.
Yeah. You're
Say it
never going to
again.
get it right. Yeah.
No, at least
What is
Jessica
it?
looked up. She helps.
Muma, and just say John.
Muma
John Meta.
No,
Muma
I have it
John.
written down here in my notes. My
John Meta.
notes shop. You ready? Moo,
Moo.
ma,
Ma.
ja,
Ja.
menta. Meta. Muma,
Greg, I got it written down, and it's all fun.
Muma
Muma
Jamenta.
Jamenta. There isn't Muma Jamenta.
Muma
Nope.
Jamenta.
Muma Zhong Meta. Zhong.
Jean.
Yeah.
Like French. Muma Jean
Yeah.
Menta.
Meta, like the Facebook.
Yeah, I wrote it down how to pronounce it.
Well, it didn't fucking work, Greg.
Hey, it worked for me. I had my
It
way.
did not work for you. You just tried to tell me how to do it, and you did it. fucked
Muma
up.
Jamenta.
It's Samar J.
Go to Elise Jesse.
Breaking news. Breaking news from Jay Morrison. Jamar Chase climbed on a golf cart with jersey in hand. An assistant quarterback coach, Freddie Knighton, sitting next to him with a football, looked like they were riding off to a post-practice workout at the indoor facility.
Or a post-practice signing.
Well, not with a football in his jersey.
Yeah.
I know how to say that guy's name, Jamar Chase.
So he's getting some work in. I know you talked about that a lot, Chop. You said, hopefully he's getting some work in outside. And this kind of shows that, hey, he's starting to ramp back up, which means, honestly, he's probably going to be out there contract or no contract soon.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's
And
my
now
guess.
if you listen to Ocho,
I just feel like Jamar
Ocho
Chase is
said
like,
that,
these kids, man, you got to let your pride go at some point. I know that, I feel like Jamar Chase has dug his heels in. At this point, I think that it's went past what he expected. You know what I'm saying? I think that maybe he thought, because at the whole beginning of this, Zach Taylor was even giving excuses like, well, we're going to let T have a rest day, and then Jamar has a rest day, and that's how we're doing the veterans. And it was all bullshit. It was a hold-in. That's what it was. It was all bullshit. But I also think that kind of shows you that they thought this was going to – okay. Fucking barbecue sauce. But I think it showed that, like, he thought he was going to be back. But the thing is, every day that it goes in, he kind of digs his heels in. And so at some point, you just got to be like, at what day am I just give it up? And because I'm going to give it up. Maybe they sign a contract, but if they're not, at some point he's going to give it up. So it's up to Jamar Chase to say, what day is that? Maybe he can just pick a day like after the next preseason game, he could say, you know what? I always planned on coming back this day, and here I am. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
the Joe thing, I think Joe more or less said that if he was starting to feel something, like feel
right,
not himself, he would definitely take a rest day.
Well, I thought Zach did say, like, because when he was missing a practice once a week earlier on, he said he would have built-in rest days, and we haven't seen too many of them. But he didn't play in the game and stuff like that.
Those are his rest days.
Let's think this logically. If for sure, if he would not be throwing, if he was injured or anything, if he was dealing with something, he would not be throwing or doing any of this, right? If he was seriously injured.
if it was even nagging him a little bit, I don't think he would throw that.
Right.
Day. He would rest it. I feel like. And according to the man himself, Joe Burrow has said so many times on so many different interviews now that he's paying more attention to his body and he's not pushing through things. If he's got a little nagging thing, he's going to let it heal up. So I think you're right.
And then the question about Trent Brown, as of an hour ago,
Who knows?
James Rapine, he is back at practice.
All right, good deal. So they reported like some back tightness, and they are probably being precautionary with it. And he's back out there working, and that's good. And hopefully,
word is that he doesn't care. He's a Pro Bowler. He's been in the league for a while. You're fine.
Hey,
take the man for his word.
And you got to think this also about Joe Burrow. Today, I never wear gloves when I plant because I dig with my hands. But you know what? I wore gloves today because I didn't want my hands dirty. Maybe he didn't want to get his hands dirty or something. Who knows?
That's probably it, Greg.
Yeah.
Probably didn't want to get his hand dirty.
Exactly.
In between reps.
He didn't give a fuck about that left hand, but that right hand, he's keeping it special.
Well, exactly. That's a special hand.
Who is 52?
I think that's
52.
Cedric Johnson.
Is that Cedric?
On the
Yeah,
bench.
Dude,
the
Trent Brown
rookie.
just made him look like a. Oh, never mind. That's not him. That was from last week.
Ah.
I thought it was this week. I wasn't looking at the win.
Someone in the comments earlier said Sheldon Rankins was beating the shit out of fucking Teddy K all day. And that's, I mean, I feel like that's good news. And I'm not saying anything bad about Teddy K. I'm saying that I feel good about our offense. It's our defense this year that I'm worried about. I feel good about the offense because it didn't get worse. It got better with the pieces that we got. But our defense last year was last or second to last. So to hear that the defense is having a good day against our offense, I love that news.
I will say I will be slightly concerned until I see it. Our run game on offense. Can we get any kind of run game?
Yeah.
Now, I've got a lot of faith in Chase Brown, but you want to see some consistency in the run game. You don't want to have 2-yard losses or 1-yard gains constantly. You want to see the yards per carry pick up here. So hopefully between those guys, and we haven't even seen Zach Moss in game action yet. So I'm not saying it's time to panic about it, but that is one thing that I'm at least slightly watching, I guess I should say. I don't want to use the word concern, but going to be watching for to see how our run game does when it comes to offense. But similar on defense, our run defense is probably the biggest concern for me.
Well, as long as we're talking about the run game, I brought up Travis's thing here. What do you guys think about the possibility of before the season starts that they call the Broncos? Because the Broncos still got Pirine under contract, don't they?
As of now.
I mean, so we'd have to make a trade. Number one, I don't.
There's honest, talk of him getting released.
Do you feel like if he gets released, he comes back? I would have said no, but we brought Von Bell back. Pirine is solid. I'm not saying no.
I like Travion. I think they like Travion as running back 3, and I think they only keep 3. But they like what Samaje can do and have trust in him as a blocker and on third down. So I wouldn't be shocked if they brought him back. But I don't think if it gets cut, it's a foregone conclusion that he's a Cincinnati Bengal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're happy with the guys they got in the room right now. And there's a lot of hype for Chase Brown right now as well in the fantasy community and in the real NFL. But I wanted to say I did see there was video of Trent Brown in 11 on 11. So with the first team, so it looks like his back's no longer stiff.
Good. Speaking of stiff back, I know that we're not switched there, but there was concern with Jermaine Burton. I was sleeping. Do we have any updates? Because I did notice when I was watching the game, I didn't know anything going into it. I watched it at work while I was getting paid. But that last return that he did, when he got up, he's just like got his hand like in the small of his back. And I thought, kind of feel, I mean, he's putting his hand over it. I wondered, was there something to that? Did he tweak his back or something? He got hit really fucking hard that last time too. Did you guys hear anything?
I have not heard any updates. I hope he was out of practice, but I have not heard one way or the other. And they had him returning kickoffs and punts, as part of our
never
recap
done
here.
that in college.
One target, one catch, as far as I saw, on as a receiver. But never done it, and I thought he looked pretty good. A lot of them got called back, but he had a decent punt return, got called back. But both his kick returns, he had like 29-yard returns, almost 30-yarders. So you take that every day, especially no one's getting past the 25 hardly on these, and he was getting out to the 30. So.
I thought he looked good, especially finding out that he never returned before. Like that was his first time ever returning kicks.
The only thing I've seen on Mims is they said that he was standing right there beside Trent Brown, just talking it up. So I mean,
he said he's still going to be there, soaking up as much as he can from those guys.
And if I had to take any bets on it, I would say they're just going to kind of put him in a bubble until week 1 gets here, and just not really worry too much about it, which sucks because like we said a couple weeks ago, you like to see this guy get those reps, but.
This is what I'm talking about, man. Brew Crew coming through for us. Rock and Bangle got an update.
Yep.
From Ben Baby saying that Joe Burrow's wearing the glove today because it helps with moisture and grip on days like today. Something he typically does in cold weather. So it's probably freezing ass cold outside.
So damn cold out there right now.
Well, I haven't been out. I'm in the air-conditioned basement. Fuck all I know. The heat's on. Maybe the fucking changed in the wintertime out there.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's it for Glovegate.
Yeah.
No concerns. Hopefully we'll take him at his word. No issues. Just wearing it for the moisture.
Yeah. Yeah.
He likes to keep things moist.
Yeah, that's right. He keeps that. Just like Greg, he's got that right hand nice and moist.
The funny thing is, I was playing plants today, and the ground was so muddy.
That's why you wore your gloves.
Well, I sat down on the ground. It looks like I crapped myself or something.
Because you crapped yourself. Don't blame it on the mud, Greg. If you take a shit in the mud, you still took a shit in the mud.
Well, no, if I did that, that would give it good. It would be good manure for the mud. So yeah,
there you go.
Nice fourth down pass breakup, also on James Rapine's X account. Joe Burrow looking for Charlie Jones on a fourth down play here in practice, and Dax
so
with
Charlie's
the great
playing.
pass breakup.
It's nice to see Charlie Jones out there again too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
AKA
thought that
Chuck
one could be
Stizzle.
serious, and it was not. So we're definitely happy with that. That he should be good, and I think the wide receivers are set with the top six, barring that no one is injured prior to week 1.
Yeah.
Man, they cut, Okay, so our one guy, I believe it's Ryan
Savon.
Sparks. They cut Devontae Maxwell. He's got.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's got to be tore up right now.
I thought you was about to talk about the Dolphins cutting Salvon Ahmed. Did I say that right?
No, this is Bengals related. So Maxwell was waived. He hadn't played a lot. I think he might have got 3 snaps in the game, and he had kind of been out injured before that. So D tackle that they got rid of. Speaking of D tackles, the man Chris Jenkins had a sack. He only played about 14 snaps. One of those he got a sack on Caleb Williams. So that was nice to see.
He looked good on that one too with his spin move, and that's not what we got him for. I mean, he was the run blocker, but I said they didn't use him for pass rushing. Michigan had a big rotation where they put in a lot of they put Chris Jenkins in to stop the run, so maybe he would do okay, and he put on a good move that day.
Well, they got studs. Like going into next year, they still got Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham, who could both be first-round picks at defensive tackle. So they were stacked at D tackle with those two and Chris Jenkins and a deep D line all around. So even though I don't love that school, they're stacked at D tackle.
Man, I got to tell you, I'm still I need to see it in real game. I need to see our defense and our defensive line in a real game. I can't wait for that.
Tell me if you guys read anything into this. They've got the starting D line out there right now, and they've got DJ Turner in getting some slot reps.
Ooh.
I think that's good, because if they're not going to keep Jalen Davis as that backup guy, then I think, and Dax is kind of winning that outside role. It's good to start getting him some reps in there, because you never know when an injury is going to pop up. And we were kind of saying, going forward, if they don't re-sign Mike Hilton and Dax plays well all season, this was before you got on, that we thought they may look at a DJ Turner and a Josh Newton as guys that will compete for the starting slot corner role next year if Mike Hilton's not, re-signed at that point.
Or they might even want to start using him like more in a rotational role and trying to keep him as fresh as possible. That's the thing when guys start getting a little bit up there in age, they start pulling their snaps back and trying to keep them as fresh as possible.
Chop knows all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me ask you this though, because I know you were looking in the chat and you saw that thing, or you might put it in there about the Jamar Chase getting on the golf cart. But previous to that was how Arizona's talking about Jonah Williams might be a bust.
Yes, I saw that.
So I don't think
is that just a fan article, or
I don't know, but it's a money deal. I already understand that, but I would not be upset for Jonah Williams to come here and be a backup tackle.
No, I would. No, but I don't think he would come back here though.
Yeah, and especially having Trent Brown and Mims, like something would have to go wrong for us to even want him back with those two pretty locked in it right
or
now.
Put him at
I agree, but I'm just saying, like the backup, like if we get rid of Carmen, and would you rather have Jonah Williams over Cody Ford? I know Cody Ford will cover the guards a lot too, but I mean, in a pinch, I think Cody Ford's like the next
Well,
tackle
like you
in,
said,
man.
though, he did get a big contract, so he may be a bust, but he's a bust that's going to make the roster because they're already going to be paying for him.
Right.
Well, the thing of it is, I don't think he'd want to come back here because I think he was still salty even after he left with how he got benched and all that. I still think he was never – I think he's still ticked off about that too.
Well, if he wants some of that bling-bling, because you're going to get it this year.
Charles is a good point here because I haven't heard any updates on McKinley Jackson.
Yeah.
And we did talk about this one Friday when we were doing a little bit of our roster projections, which we'll do a final one probably next Monday after this next game. That's the day before cuts. But if McKinley Jackson is not back, a guy like Travis Bell, who I didn't think flashed as much this week as he did the week before when he had a sack in the first preseason game. But I do think that he's a guy that could fill a D tackle because I haven't seen too much out of Jay Tufele, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think like if McKinley Jackson's going to be out, I think the last D tackle spot would come down to Travis Bell and, a guy like whoever I just said.
McKinley Jackson.
Jay Tufele.
Oh,
Tufele and Bell. If Jackson goes on like the short-term IR in a few weeks, because we just haven't heard an update on, his status being out injured. I don't think he's back yet. I haven't even heard if he's been on the rehab field. I haven't really seen anything about him, so he might be out a little longer. If that's the case, I think it opens up the door for a D tackle spot to go to somebody like Travis Bell, or they keep Tufele, who's been here a few years now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I would agree, but at the same time, if they switch something up, I'm not going to be pessimistic about it. I know Tufele's been on this defense and playing a lot of snaps over the last few years, but I wouldn't be upset because, like I said before, man, defense was not good last year. So whatever change, there needs to be some changes. Besides sending DJ Reader to Detroit,
I would say maybe even McKinley Jackson, if he was healthy, maybe they keep Bell over Zach Carter or something. But it just seems like they love Zach Carter and he's not going anywhere. So I think Zach Carter makes it. Like if I'm doing a roster projection, I'm putting Zach Carter on it. But I don't know that he just deserves to be on it if we're being honest on how he's performed the first 2 years.
It's going to be a hard cut down, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think as fans, we see things some ways, and for some reason in the building, they see them a different way. I mean, when you're talking about the linebackers, when you're talking about Momo Manjada, is that right?
Just say number 45. It's
John Meta. John Meta. Momo
There you
John
go.
Meta.
John Meta.
John Meta. Momo John Meta. Dude, when you look at this guy, man, please, I want him to be on the sideline on Sundays.
Special teams, too. I thought he played well.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he played decent on special teams.
That's what I'm
tackles.
saying. So, but then when he comes out, like, I don't know. I think I read too much about who's in, like in these preseason games. I read too much about who's playing and who's not playing and why aren't they playing and why are they playing? Why are they in at this time of the game? Why are they not in at this time of the game? I put too much of that into it and trying to figure out this roster battles, but it just, but I guess he played the whole game, right? Against Chicago. John Meta.
He played, his snap
he played a
percentage
lot.
was up there.
So, I mean, so that's good for him as far as like who's playing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like, what the fuck are they seeing? I've thought this for years about Jackson Carman. Like, what the fuck are they seeing in practice or something that they keep this guy around?
He played the most snaps in week 1, and this week he was at 49%. But I think he was in there to start the game and played most of the first half with like the second team unit. And I think a little of the third teamers was in there before the half. So he played most of that first half with the defense. But I think they've liked what they've seen out of him enough that, maybe he wasn't getting as many snaps because they already feel like he's making the roster.
Yeah.
And then a guy like Shaka Hayward got 73% of the snaps, and maybe it's because they wanted to see an extended look at him, which he took advantage of that. And like Greg mentioned earlier, had like a 90 PFF grade and looked really good. So I feel good about the back end of that linebacker room. And Joe Bocce's a solid-ass veteran that also posted a good PFF grade.
And
he didn't
look bad.
Well, let's face it. We really didn't know what we had in our backup linebackers after, I mean, we knew we had Wilson, Pratt, and even Gaithers, but we knew nothing after that. And like these Hayward and Muma were just tearing it up in the preseason.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll disagree with Robert on here, because I agree that they could go with the 6 corners, 5 safeties, 5 linebackers, but I think they still go 10 D linemen. I think they'll go 5 D ends and 5 D tackles. And I think where they'll go light is with 9 offensive linemen instead of defensive. For me personally, like if I'm putting together a 53 right now, I think I go 9 on offense because of what Jackson Kirkland and Cody Ford being able to play tackle and guard. You can kind of go 1 lighter on that than some years that you do. Unless they want to put Gilliam on there, who played that entire game and held up pretty well. That could be the 10th guy if they go 10-0 lineman. And then, maybe they do go 4 D tackles. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for 9 D linemen, but I think 9 O linemen would almost make more sense this season.
Yeah.
Especially with some guys dinged up at D tackle like McKinley Jackson. If you do carry him on the 53.
Right.
You're going to need an extra guy at that spot, at least to start with till he's back, if you're carrying him, Jackson, who's not ready, and someone else.
Maluga.
Hallelujah.
Maluga seems easy to say now.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. The one thing that made me really excited, and I know we were talking about, like, which guys do you keep for special teams and everything. Watching our defense, we might not see a whole lot of kickoff returns this year, just for the fact that both games in a row, the quote unquote starting lines were dishing out 3 and outs, and that's the kind of stuff that you want to see. I know you do see. I mean, we're going to give up some points, but I love the way this defense is looking.
Yeah.
Probably give up 6 or 7 points all year. Our defense is going to be fucking dominant.
No.
Uh-oh.
No.
You got a friend.
Hey, buddy.
Let me tell you about my best
What's the dog think there, Dale, about the offensive line keeping 9 or 10?
Yeah. What's that? Oh, Jackson Carvin sucks, he said.
Oh, hell, we love him.
Nova with the breakdown of Jackson Carvin sucks.
Right.
But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I got some stuff to do. You guys can
I
go
gotta finish
a few more
mowing
minutes if you want, or
I got poop, so I'll probably go too.
all right.
I mean, I'm going to go in this chair or in the chair, the water chair upstairs.
Yeah.
All right,
In the
guys.
throne.
Well, we will be back on Friday, as I mentioned, our normal 3:30 time and at 7 with 2 shows because we'll have a fantasy draft at 7, fantasy football draft for the Burrow League of the charity Bengals and Brews and Orange Arrow, whatever you want to call it. Call it whatever you want. It's for charity.
Yeah.
But we appreciate everybody tuning in.